What is good, WWE Universe? Welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, episode number 62. And we are live from a snowy November day
I
in
hate it.
Buffalo, New York. I don't know how we made it, but we are here and it is colder than hell outside right now. But with that, last night, Monday Night Raw, it rolled into Boston, and John Cena turned up to open the show in the TD Garden, and the 17-time world champ one final Grand Slam champion after all there. He captured some gold from the dirty Dom Mysterio after Dom got attitude adjusted into the retirement home at the end of that match. But the gold looks good around the goat's waist, and we're here to talk about it. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and let's get going here. So, how we feeling about the 17-time world champion is now a Czech Grand Slam champion as well?
So, first of all, let me say I really like the fact that Triple H introduced him. I thought that was pretty awesome for that whole segment.
I
Um,
didn't. I hated it. It
no,
was so
really?
Triple H ego bullshit nonsense, but
No, but
whatever.
I was fine with it. I was honestly hoping to see. I was wondering if Cena was going to cry during his thanking of everybody, but I think that'll be after everything is all said and done. But um, him winning the title off of Dom. I don't know that it was necessary. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy it happened, mind you. So happy the
This
title
is
is
my
off.
completely disagree with you face,
Hold on.
but go ahead.
Let me get my point out. I'm happy the title is off down, but part of me feels like that could have been used to put somebody over. But that it's all going to end up hinging on what ends up happening with the Cena tournament and what ends up being at the end of it. Because if the title just ends up going on somebody who already had it at one point, which I'm expecting it to, I kind of not a super big fan of that when that title could have been used to push someone else.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I wanted that title off of Dominik like something fierce, and the
Yeah,
reports have been for a while that that was going to happen. And frankly, I'm happier that they did that now versus doing that and wasting a Cena Survivor Series match with Dominik Mysterio because those were the reports, and I was like, what a complete waste. Because you're not going to have him lose before he loses his final match. Like whatever he does at Survivor Series, he is going to win. And now we know what he is going to do at Survivor Series, which leads me, into
but
which we'll talk about in a minute, with what is going to happen at Survivor Series because both of our this was a jam-packed episode of Raw where both War Games matches got announced. But we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, Cena being the Grand Slam champion, which I'm kind of shocked. I didn't realize that he never won the IC title in
yeah,
25 years in the WWE. I was like thinking back about it and I couldn't pinpoint a time, but I could have swore he had a match with Shawn Michaels at one point in time, and I know they were tag team champions, but I could have swore he was the IC champion at one point in time, but I didn't really research it that much, but that's
it
neither
was
here
always
nor
the
there, I
U.S.
guess. Yeah.
Cena was always associated with the U.S. title. It was the first major title that he won when he beat Big Show. And then like when he did his U.S. Open Challenge and everything, that was the one secondary title that was always tied to John Cena.
Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense.
And I
But
gotta ask,
great.
did I
It was
miss
a
something? Like I don't recall them saying what Cena was going to be doing at Survivor Series. So you
no,
kind of kept me by
they
surprise here.
they all but said what Cena is going to be doing at Survivor Series. I mean, come on, it is so obvious where they're going to go with this. They're going to do everything in their power to have the biggest Survivor Series match of all time. Come on. So, I mean, Cena had that brief interaction with Cody backstage right after he won the title. And, as we mentioned, both War Games matches were announced for this show. And we might as well just get into what happened with the men's one first, because, that the women's one kind of closed out the show. So we'll talk about that later. Um, the men's War Games match got announced via CM Punk coming to the ring with the World Heavyweight Championship and basically just kind of being a bit pissed off and calling out Logan Paul, who came out and they kind of had a back and forth exchange, which I give Logan Paul a lot of props. He's really good on the microphone. He's such a dick heel, and I just absolutely enjoy the shit out of it. I think it's great. So they went back and forth, and then the Vision came out, and they basically attempted to storm the ring. And then Cody and Jey Uso came down for the save, which led to later a backstage segment where CM Punk jokingly got Regal to say WarGames, and it was basically made official. So my point is, though, that, with the WrestleMania poster being put into place and the fact that this is Cena's last Survivor Series and the fact that WWE is in desperate need of the biggest thing they can possibly do at this point, you cannot tell me that the men's War Games match for the face side is going to be Cody, Jay, Punk, Cena, and Roman versus the Vision, which will add Brock Lesnar, and which will and that's maybe how you get Cena his win back. Cena will pin Brock Lesnar
Yeah,
in that match. And then maybe, I don't know, Austin
Drew.
Theory. Austin Theory or Drew. Yeah, or Drew could be the fifth. Actually, Drew makes more sense because Drew's a bigger star than Austin Theory. So Drew will
And
be the fifth.
and you need someone to offset Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First off, I love the fact that they keep Regal around just to yell war games. The guy gets a paycheck off saying one word a year. Um,
Well, he's
but
he's doing he's like doing coaching and training and stuff.
yeah, no, he's obviously doing more backstage and he's probably helping with producing and stuff. But I honestly, when it was just Jay and Punk out there, part of me thought it was going to be either Roman or Cena that came out first to help them. Um, I didn't even think about the fact that we had seen Cody earlier in the night. Like my first thought was that it was going to be one of the two of those. And you're 100% right. They need to take full advantage of this being Cena's last Survivor Series and this being their first outdoor like stadium Survivor Series. This has to be huge for them. And considering that the Royal Rumble is out of the country, it's got to be one of their big ones now to make up for that. Especially here stateside.
Well, and not only that, they've all but said too that the Royal Rumble is going to have minimal to no surprises in it because of the fact that it's out of the country and it's next to impossible to fly wrestlers into Saudi Arabia with which to do so. So any surprise returns are now the reason why we have a Saturday night's main event 1 or 2 weeks before the Royal Rumble.
I don't like that. Like I feel
That
like
is
that
exact.
ruins.
That is exactly why that they put that there to bring back the surprises.
Um,
So
Speaking of,
you're not gonna get surprises at the Royal Rumble is basically what I'm saying this year, and that's why because it'd be impossible to hide it.
yeah. No, you're right. That I didn't even think about that. Speaking of surprises, real quick, I want to mention something that Cena said during his talk at the beginning about Saturday Night Main Event and how he had a request for his final Saturday Night Main Event showing that he wants it to be a showcase of the future, which is something that you and I have talked about for a while now, that WWE needs to be focusing on their future. And to see that John Cena was pushing for something similar to what we were thinking, I think is pretty awesome. And I think that that Saturday Night Main Event has the potential to be pretty cool.
I don't really know what that means though. It sounds like it's just going to be a match.
No, he said
Like,
he wants the whole night to showcase NXT superstars.
but what does that mean?
It's
You know
probably
what
to
I
be
mean?
matches of NXT people versus main roster people.
I mean, we don't know. I'm not giving WWE the benefit of any doubt
Yeah.
until it actually happens. But they did make an announcement that next week we are going to get just no surprise, which I didn't love. Um, but they did make the announcement that next week Gunther's just back
Yeah.
and no kind of surprise of Gunther coming back. But I got to imagine Gunther versus Javon Evans is going to be a hell of a match.
Oh my God, that's going to be a barn burner. And I
That
mean, I
is going
know
to be incredible. Absolutely incredible. I can't wait
it
for
just,
that. Like that, I'm like, I cannot wait for next Monday to watch that.
I mean, it sucks that Javon doesn't have a chance of advancing, but
No.
he's going to put on such a show in the ring, even in a losing effort.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be outstanding. And then Solo Sokoa versus Mystery Person as well, which is also kind of interesting because we know we already know one of them is going to be Joe Hendry, and I know that Zack Ryder was already or not, he didn't go by Zack Ryder, but he was already on NXT a couple of weeks ago, I
Yeah.
think, as well. So it's probably very likely that we see him as well. Again, not going to be Jericho, not going to be Edge. Sorry, internet. That's not going to happen because like you have either one of those guys come in and they have to win. I still am of the mind that both of those guys are going to be in WWE next year. Edge is going to retire in WWE next year, and I think Jericho will have his final run in WWE next year.
Is Jericho's contract up? Because I
They're
could
both
see him.
they're both up. Edge's is up at the end of the year, and Jericho's, I believe, is up in either the end of the year or in February.
I was just saying, because if Jericho's was already up out of the two of them, I could see Jericho being brought back for a match and then losing to Gunther. I could see that being him being fine with that. Out of the
Maybe.
two of them, like I could see Edge not so much, but I think Jericho would be fine with that, and I think that that would actually be a really good match too.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's going to happen.
we can get into Jericho, but I promise you, in the next 12 calendar months, you are going to see Chris Jericho for certain in a WWE ring. I
Yeah.
don't know about Edge, but I do feel like Edge will retire. Edge is going to get put into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So Edge will eventually get back to WWE for something, but Jericho certainly. I'm 1,000% certain we're going to see Jericho in WWE again,
Oh,
especially with how AEW is treating him lately.
yeah. And he's a
Absolutely.
Hall of Famer too. So like I
Yeah.
guarantee you Jericho's also a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he was
Oh, 1,000%.
the first ever unified champion. They put
A
him over
thou-
The Rock and Austin.
yeah, 1,000% Jericho's going to be back at WWE. I have no question in my mind about that. So we did have a backstage segment with Maxine, who was seen speaking to Raw General Manager Adam Pearce, and she told him that she's ready for her next chance and is ready to challenge Becky Lynch for the Women's IC Championship. Pierce made it official for next week's show at Madison Square Garden, which that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that they were at MSG next week. And as Pierce left, Dupree was attacked by Lynch, telling her, "quote Welcome to the big time." I think she said "bitch," but I'm not certain.
I think she
And,
did.
and she slugged her. And yeah, I think it would be awesome if Maxine won next week. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think that might be where we see the return of AJ Lee because Punk did mention her during his speech. Because Heyman said some ignorant shit about her during his speech, which was really like I'm really surprised that Paul Heyman like took a shot at AJ Lee during what he said to Punk because Punk looked legitimately pissed when he said that. Like he was
I have to
surprised
imagine
that he said that. I mean, I know Punk and Heyman are boys and like they would never and maybe they were just like let's try and make this a little bit more real. But I think Punk looked legitimately surprised when that happened. So bringing her name up again like that makes me think we're probably going to see her next week when and if Maxine loses.
I wouldn't be surprised if Heyman had told Punk, I'm gonna say something, but didn't tell him what it was gonna be, just so that way he could get that pissed off reaction
Yeah.
out of him. Because that's
Yeah.
100% something I could that Heyman would do.
Yeah.
Um, Especially with the two of them being like real life friends. But I know that I had picked I said that I thought Maxine was going to upset Becky, but the fact that this is just going to be on a regular Monday Night Raw, and we just saw the way that this episode happened, I don't know that I see a title change on another regular show.
Well, they did
If
change
this,
both titles on regular episodes of SmackDown.
yeah, I mean, if this,
Both mid card titles and the men's IC title all changed on regular episodes of TV.
you know what,
All three of four mid card titles changed in the last month on TV.
I'm going to stick with it then. I do think Maxine's going to beat her.
I see. I still think it's going to be AJ Lee, so I'm kind of contradicting myself. But I just wanted to throw out there that three of four mid card titles did change in the last month on TV.
Does an AJ Lee Becky Lynch match have to have the title involved though? Could AJ
Yes.
come out and cost Becky?
maybe. But yeah, you're right. You're right. It doesn't necessarily need the title, but I am 1,000% certain it's going to happen at Survivor Series.
Yeah,
That's why she's been off of TV because there hasn't been a big enough show with which to have her have a match. So she's
makes
going
sense.
to be back for Survivor Series, 1,000%. And then yeah, you do her and Becky blow off match there. I think you want her to win the title there. I think it's a bigger moment, and WWE is all about moments. So
I guess
I don't know. I don't know.
I guess my only concern about AJ winning the title is she going to be able to defend it more than once or twice? You know
How
what I mean?
often how often does Becky defend it?
Becky's defended at several PLEs, I think.
Yeah, so you have AJ defend it again at the Royal Rumble. Have her make a
Okay.
couple of
It was
appearances.
just a
Be
thought.
Becky's not on TV every week, you
Yeah,
know?
true.
So, I mean, they could manage. They've certainly done worse. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know.
definitely.
I could be way off, and it would be a nice moment to have Maxine win it, and then, she could probably lose it again in a little bit, Hell, Maxine could win it, and then she could go have a rematch against Becky at Survivor Series, and then that's when AJ Lee comes back.
Yeah.
You could do it there. You could do it there too, and have the moment be there. So as we mentioned, the CM Punk segment with the men's War Games match getting announced, and this episode of Raw just had a lot of stuff happen. It was like we
Yeah.
were just literally going to throw everything against the wall with this match or with this show. I did skip over that we had the first match between Damian Priest and Rusev for the Last Time Is Now tournament. Rusev did pick up the win with a machka kick and a quick pin. Damian Priest is such a big guy, and it was like funny to watch Rusev like not even be able to get the leg up like right at the end of that match. But good solid match. I watched all of this match and I enjoyed it. I very much like Rusev, and I loved how he was taunting Cena at the end of this match, doing the "you can't see me" thing, which was super cool. I don't think Rusev is going to win this, but the inevitable Rusev versus surprise, surprise, the inevitable Rusev versus Sheamus match, who Sheamus had his match with Shinsuke Nakamura as well a bit later on in the show, and Sheamus did pick up the win there. So we are getting another. This was my only kind of gripe with this. You should have had Nakamura win, I think. But my only gripe with this whole show was that Sheamus won that match.
Ah,
But it is what it is. Like it's more of just a shot at WWE and their never-ending feuds.
I mean, Sheamus going over makes more sense in the history with Cena kind of way. It would have been nicer to see Shinsuke go and get the shot versus Rusev just because we haven't seen it. But I do understand why they had Sheamus go over just for the history side of things, and they mentioned it several times during the match. That was a hard hitting match. The two of them put on probably one of the best matches I've seen the two of them do lately. Um, but the Rusev Damian Priest one, I just I couldn't really get into it. Like I don't know what exactly it was, but something about the match just kind of felt off to me. Like I was saying before we started, I don't know if it was just the fact that they're two big physical guys with slightly different styles. Just it didn't feel like they were meshing particularly well in the ring there. And like you said, that end where it just looked kind of awkward, the Machka kick on the fact that Damian Priest is like 7 feet tall. I will say I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't WWE in their incessant need to have people interfere in matches. Thank God didn't do that with this, and I'm really hoping that this is a nice, clean, actual tournament for everything, and we don't see other feuds causing interference in these matches.
Yeah, I mean, no, I agree with that. And I think that's for the most part, it's probably how it's going to go. As I mentioned at the start of the show as well, we did have a women's title defense with Stephanie Becker and Raquel Rodriguez. No surprise here that Stephanie was going to retain her title in this match. She did get attacked afterwards by Roxanne, and to which had Nikki Bella come down for the save. And then, surprise, surprise, to no one's shock, Nikki Bella punch Stephanie Vicaire in the face, and that's going to be your Survivor Series match there, to which Stephanie will retain 1,000%. And it's 2025. And yes, we've all been happy with Nikki Bella and she's been better, blah, 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 blah. But Nikki Bella getting a title match in 2025, don't care.
I
But
mean,
whatever. It's a good first feud for Stephanie. Have her, have her beat Nikki clean and Nikki can ride off into the sunset for a little while.
that's exactly what it is. It's a nice, easy starter feud for her. I happened a little bit sooner than I expected. I figured they would use it as like a filler feud, maybe as like her second feud, but we knew it was going to happen. And I mean, if we get the quality of match that we got when Nikki faced Becky in Paris, I'll be happy with it because that was a more than adequate match, and I think Stephanie should be able to carry Bella to a good match.
Mm. So before I ask you this next question, we'll just go over the end part of the show. So after winning the opportunity to become the women's tag team champion contenders, the Kabuki Warriors and of Asuka and Kairi Sane got their match with Alexa and Charlotte, and they proceeded to with some interference from Nia Jax and Lash Legend after literally it looked like Charlotte had the match won where she had the figure eight locked up. Nia Jax pulled her down, and this allowed Asuka to hold Charlotte down for Kyrie to hit the insane elbow for the win. And you have new women's tag team champions. But the story of this wasn't even like the match, more so it was what happened after the fact, where all four of the heels were beating down Alexa and Charlotte to have Io and then Rhea come out to even the score, which allowed Rhea to challenge the four heels to a War Games match, setting up likely what is a 4-on-4 women's War Games match at Survivor Series.
Had they even announced that Rhea broke her nose in Japan? That was the first I'd heard of that.
I was surprised to see her in that mask because wasn't she in that mask a couple of years ago for the last War Games match as well?
She got her nose broken prior to this too, and I think I guess it explains why we haven't seen her on TV. Same, and that I guess means why we haven't seen EO since they've been pretty much paired together. So at least we know that there's a legitimate reason why she's been off TV with a busted face. But it seems like she has the worst luck going into these War Games matches.
Do we have to? I mean, does this can just be a 4-on-4, right? Like,
Um,
are we adding another person here? Because like the only persons that make sense here is Bailey and Lyra. Bailey going to the heel team, Lyra going to the face team.
and I don't see that happening. I I think this stays a 4-on-4, to be completely honest with you. Um, I'm a little bit honestly in regards to the match itself prior to this. I'm surprised that the Kabuki Warriors won. I didn't think they were going to take the titles quite yet. But I guess it makes sense for it to happen for the build up to War Games. I'm not super happy about it. I'm hoping it doesn't mean that we're going to see the breakup of Charlotte and Alexa sooner rather than later. Um, but I get why it was done, and I do think a 4-on-4 women's War Games makes more sense. I think that they've done that in the past too. I think one of the women's War Games may have been an NXT one was a 4-on-4.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm kind of surprised they did it this quickly. I still don't think they're going to break those two up for a while. I think that what's going to happen is one is going to toss the other at the Royal Rumble, and then that's going to start their infighting.
I'm fine with that.
That's probably how it will go. Um, yeah, and then as I mentioned, Solo Sikoa has a mystery opponent next week as well. We obviously, as we mentioned, it's not going to be Jericho or Edge, but who do you think that it's going to be? I think it's just like
So
Joe Hendry.
we have two mystery opponents. We have one for SmackDown so far, and we have one for Raw. And we still have two more matches to be announced, or yeah, for next Friday's SmackDown. I think we get one more mystery out of this. I think we're going to see Joe Hendry as one of them. I think we're going to see Matt Cardona as one of them. And I think we're going to see somebody that none of us are expecting as one of them. I'm not quite sure who it's going to be yet.
Is Matt Cardona really that big of a deal? I mean,
He,
they already showed him on NXT. Like, is he really that big of a deal? And I'm just asking because like I never
So
really cared that much about the guy, and like, is it really like, would anybody actually really care?
here's my question for you. Are we asking in the sense of a wrestler overall, or are we asking in the sense of what Zack Ryder meant to John Cena?
Both?
So there was a huge part of John Cena's career where him and Zack Ryder had things going on between the two of them. So that's as far as that portion goes, that's why I could see um him being part of this. And then the dude, honestly, the guy was he wasn't super successful in WWE, but he was incredibly popular. And the guy went and his transferred that popularity over to being incredibly huge on the indie scene. The guy is all over on the indie scene, and I think he's with TNA. So I could see him being that. The other option, if it's not him, is going to be Nick Nemeth,
That I
Dolph
could see.
Ziggler,
That I could. I feel like
because
that I could see a lot more. I remember his stuff with Cena over the years, and I could absolutely see that. I think
yep.
Cena took the title off of him once.
He took one. I think it might have been a U.S. title that he took off of him. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I could see if it's not Matt Cardona, I think it's Dolph Ziggler, and I still do think we're going to see at least one more person that we don't expect. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure who it's going to be yet. I still am thinking on that one. I'll have that thought by our SmackDown show if they announce another mystery person.
Yeah, I'm also kind of leaning towards Jeff Hardy as well.
I don't want that though. Hardy
No, I
is
don't I don't want
such
I don't want that either, but I'm just saying I could see it.
yeah, he's his body can't let him go. The Hardys need to retire like desperately.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was Monday Night Raw, and boy, oh boy, was that an episode. Good Lord, was a lot. They did a lot of stuff in this episode, but it was a good one. It was finally like entertaining from start to finish, and I enjoyed it. So, what are your final thoughts?
That was probably the best Raw in a while. There was great wrestling, there was fantastic story stuff, and the announcements of everything were real good. And getting Cena his opportunity to be in front of his home crowd one last time, honestly, that alone adds a uptick to my rating of the show. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you probably didn't need to announce both War Games matches here, and I think the kind of the way they did the women's one especially seemed a little bit rushed. Like
Yep,
you probably could have did that next week, but at the same time, I get it. You've only got like 2 weeks
yep.
until, right? Because it's the 20. When is it? No, is it 3 weeks? It's
It's
the
Black
last.
Friday weekend, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's 3 weeks. It's 20 something days from now, right?
That's still not a lot of time.
Yeah, so it's still not a ton of time. So I guess I get it, but I still feel like you probably could have waited till next Monday to announce one of them because I think announcing both on the same show maybe diminishes it a little bit. And I didn't love like the match. I'm not knocking on the matches because they were great matches, but I'm not loving that we're getting another Sheamus versus Rusev match. I didn't really need that, but I would agree with you. Overall, good show, and I think my final rating is a throw everything at the wall out of 5.
No shot
So,
at Dom.
so, with that, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know what your thoughts are on the show and what you guys thought of it, and where do you think we go from here? What do you think is going to happen with the men's War Games match? Do you think my predictions are crazy? Do you think that we are going to, in fact, get Roman and Cena on the good guy side, and maybe Brock and Drew on the heel side, and just kind of see if we have that as a traditional 5-on-5? Because Roman's going to be there, Cena's going to
Yep.
be there. Like we know that, and I would think that Brock is going to be there as well. Just as much as I don't want to see Brock Lesnar stand across from everybody on the face side because we've seen that match before 1,000 times. But, it is what it is. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will talk to you guys later. Have a good one and take care.